Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. The latest move by the SEC in the SEC versus Ripple case shows their increasing desperation. Folks, the SEC is just grasping at straws, filing insignificant documents, and just wait till you see what they submitted today. It is completely irrelevant to the SEC versus Ripple case, and the SEC, I've said so many times, and it's consistently true. Like, I don't think that they believe most of the things that they're arguing are true. They're just arguing things. That's pretty much it. And so today, what they filed has to do with a ruling that was made via in a completely separate case, which I have talked about on this channel. It's the cryptocurrency library, LBRY, stylized LBRY for short. Because they have... it's not that there's no similarities in the cases, but in terms of the ruling, the portion that's relevant to what's going to be discussed in this video, there is no overlap. And so part of this has to do with Ripple's fair notice defense. We'll be talking about that. But also, in this library case, there was a selective enforcement. There was a selective enforcement defense, and the SEC is saying that this somehow relates to the Ripple case. And so I'll share with you the specifics, but... before going any further, I do want to be clear, I don't have a legal or financial background of any kind. I'm not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And so I did print out this most recent legal filing from the SEC. I'm going to spend most of the video, though, just sharing with you perspective from, I think I might have 4 different attorneys, comments from 4 different attorneys lined up, all within the XRP community in this video. I'm going to try and read as little of the actual document as is possible here, because for the nature of this thing, I don't think it's appropriate. I just need to get the idea across to everybody that's listening, which I can do without reading through a bunch of the stuff, which is rather dry here. Shout out to attorney James Filan, a member of the XRP community, who shared this document with the public here. And I want to share, actually, let's start by sharing this comment from attorney Jeremy Hogan. This actually dates back to February 9th, but it's highly relevant. And you'll see why as we go through. But he tweeted out the following on February 9th. The SEC argued that prior lawsuits against crypto companies provided fair notice to Ripple. However, half of the lawsuits did not involve sale of any digital assets at all, and the other half involved companies that held ICOs. And, oh yeah, the first lawsuit was in 2017. So, right, okay, so if Ripple was supposed to look at these cases that had been filed in the past, and the first lawsuit wasn't until 2017, how was it supposed to help them back in 2013, even if these were relevant? Well, they can't, obviously, because it didn't happen until 2017, the first one. But on top of that, again, it gets even worse, because half of them here involved ICOs. There was no XRP ICO. Absolutely not. And half of them didn't have anything to do with sale of digital assets at all. So it couldn't be more unrelated, right? And so the SEC still, though, they're just arguing whatever the hell it is that they want to argue. And so in this library case, this other cryptocurrency, LBRY, in the library case, the court struck down their selective enforcement defense, okay? So the SEC, what they're doing now, since the court struck that down, the selective enforcement defense, which is not the same as fair notice defense. The SEC is now arguing this strengthens their argument against Ripple's fair notice defense, but these are completely different defenses, completely different arguments. And the SEC, it's what I'm saying, they're desperate, they're grasping at straws. This does not make logical sense. And so here's the only portion that I really want to read, and I can't really get to it here. This is the only portion I want to read, and then we can just get into the rest of the comments from the attorneys within the XRP community, which is where I find the most interesting bits to be. So right here at the top, from the SEC. In Ripple's SIR reply, Ripple argues that the court should neither take judicial notice of nor consider the more than 70 publicly filed SEC enforcement actions related to digital assets cited in the Cornerstone research report attached to the SEC's reply brief. Ripple claims that those enforcement actions cannot establish at the pleading stage that Ripple had sufficient fair notice that the SEC would consider Ripple's XRP distributions to constitute the offer or sales of securities. And again, that's the reason I wanted to highlight that comment from Jeremy Hogan first, because again, this is the document from today, and back on February 9th, Jeremy Hogan was saying something highly relevant to this, obviously. which is that, again, of the over 70 cases filed by the SEC, about half of them were ICOs, and then the other half had nothing to do with cryptocurrency specifically. I know, that's how absurd this is, but this is what the SEC is doing. And then they rate the following. New case law further supports the SEC's position. On February 7th, 2022, a New Hampshire District Court granted the SEC's motion for judgment on the pleadings and struck an affirmative defense similar to Ripple's in a case alleging unregistered offers and sales of digital assets, but not fraud. So here's the SEC claiming that a selective enforcement defense is similar to the fair notice defense, with the fair notice defense, of course, just being this broad idea that such clear conditions existing in the blockchain and crypto industry that Ripple should have known, right? That's what the SEC's arguing. Ripple should have known that what they were doing with XRP was illegal from the very beginning. And Ripple's arguing, no, there was no fair notice from the SEC that the way we were going to market would have been construed as illegal by the SEC. That's what they're arguing. As far as selective enforcement, that's different. That's picking and choosing for completely irrational reasons, effectively, who you're going to sue. These are not the same things, folks. Like, I'm telling you, you don't need a lawyer to understand that concept. These are not the same thing. But the SEC's actually acting like these are similar. And so they filed this document, which they are alleging that they actually believe will support their case and further strengthen their arguments. It doesn't. It absolutely does not. Not even close. And so Attorney John Deaton had the following to say about this. This isn't a big deal. The SEC wants to write another paragraph or two based on this library case decision that came out February 7th. Even if Judge Torres denies the request, the SEC brought the case to her attention by this letter. This library decision has little to zero impact. Ding, ding, ding. Exactly. How could this functionally matter? And even if it's going to be considered, it's like... it's not the same thing. It's not relevant. It is what it is, folks. I know this case. Every time you think it couldn't get more absurd, it gets more absurd. Every time. Here's what Attorney Jeremy Hogan had to say about this just a little bit earlier today. He wrote, in the library case, library actually asserted a fair notice defense, and not only did it not get stricken, the SEC didn't even try and strike it. So, how a trial-level court striking a completely different affirmative defense in that case is relevant, I don't understand. And so there you go. So he's noting the difference between selective enforcement and the fair notice defense, and he's citing that the SEC actually in the library case, they're not challenging, and I don't know why, I'm very curious as to why, but they're not challenging library's fair notice defense. They're challenging Ripple's fair notice defense, but not library's fair notice defense. No idea why. I really don't have a clue there. But they did challenge the selective enforcement defense, which is different than fair notice defense. And the court struck down the selective enforcement argument that library put forth. Okay, what the hell does that have to do with Ripple's fair notice defense? And so here's Jeremy Hogan saying, I don't understand how this is relevant. That's what he's saying right now. That's what's on your screen right now. And then Jeremy also wrote the following. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Ripple will do a little legal judo and spin this into a positive for it because the SEC didn't even move to strike the fair notice defense in the library case. Sometimes you don't want to try and throw every case into a pleading. This was one of those times, I think. Yeah, won't it be interesting if Ripple does come back and argue that? Sorry, excuse me, folks. Wouldn't that be something, though? So Ripple's legal team comes back, and then what if they end up saying... what's up with you not challenging the fair notice defense there? Because there's a lot more similarity between Ripple's fair notice defense and library's fair notice defense than there would be between Ripple's fair notice defense and selective enforcement in the library case. It's so absurd. So they might have just shot themselves in the foot yet again. Yay, go SEC! Jeremy Hogan then tweeted this out. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I do have something from him. But first, a different attorney within the XRP community named Blockchain Lawyer wrote the following to Jeremy Hogan. Said, I totally agree. Having read this, I think the SEC have completely lost the plot. To which Jeremy Hogan responded, thanks for the backup. I'm scratching my head and thinking I've missed something here. but at least you are thinking the same thing. So think about this. And I don't blame Jeremy Hogan for having this response. It's just, it's so stupid and so nonsensical. Jeremy's thinking to himself, I must have missed something. This makes so little sense that I must have missed something. But he didn't. he did not. And then there's this from an individual within the community named Fred, who was another attorney. He wrote the following to attorney Jeremy Hogan. Guess what else is going on in this library case? SEC has filed a motion to delay the case, and library has filed a motion to depose Bill Slick Willie Hinman, I like that, and other SEC folks. Hearing on this tomorrow. Jeremy Hogan wrote, "Hey Fred, these cases are really running in tandem, makes it interesting." So that is fascinating. I had not heard that, and so the fact that Bill Hinman, potentially another deposition here in a separate crypto case, interesting. I'll be tracking that one to see what's said, assuming this all, depending on what becomes public, of course. You never know for sure exactly, but it is kind of interesting to see this like similarities between the two cases, and also, are you surprised that there's an additional delay in that case? Like the SEC, their tactic is just delay, which is evil as far as I'm concerned. Then there's another attorney within the XRP community named Bill. He retweeted that comment from John Deaton I shared earlier in the video, and Bill wrote the following. Yep, it is a complete nothing burger. Different type of affirmative defense and library case failed at pleading stage, and the decision was made before the SEC weakened its application to strike the fair notice defense with its recent new characterization of the Bill Hinman speech. And so there you go. Another attorney within the community feels the same way effectively, and what he's talking about in terms of weakening. SEC weakened application to strike the fair notice defense as a result of characterizations of the Hinman speech. What he's referencing there clearly is that the SEC, although initially they were arguing that the Bill Hinman Ethereum-free pass speech was just Bill Hinman's personal opinion, they're now arguing that it's actually the official position of the Division of Corporation Finance, which was Bill Hinman's division. That's what they're actually arguing. It's not, they're not claiming it's the SEC's official position, just one division. Now, of course, and I talked about this in a separate video, so I won't go into detail here, but that division, along with a few others, they're at the top. That if one of those divisions, in this case it's the Division of Corporation Finance, if that is the official decree of that division, then it's the official decree of the SEC. And Jeremy Hogan pointed out it'd be just the same as if the finance department at Tesla has a policy of 0% interest for loans on their Tesla vehicles. Is that just the official position of the finance department of Tesla and not the official position of Tesla? Or is it the case that it is Tesla? Well, of course it's Tesla in that case. And so if you apply the same logic to this, you can see how the SEC's position just falls apart, and it doesn't make any damn sense. Here's another tweet from attorney Bill here, who retweeted attorney James Filan's tweet sharing this document from earlier today from the SEC, and wrote, "Thanks, James. This seems somewhat desperate, given the SEC did not even apply to strike out the fair notice defense in the library case. More time wasting." So you can see all the other attorneys out there looking at this like, what in the ever-loving hell is the freaking SEC doing? What a bunch of asshats. Really grinds my gears, folks. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write, so that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.